Featuring Doc, Don Vito, and Keith Cash. Harlem's number one show.
Yeah. Back, happy Wednesday, y'all.
What up?
Welcome to the Beat 139. I'm Doc. I shake the block.
Don Vito, voice for the people. One more time. We're going to hit that bomb for him.
The Shaq and Kobe, the podcast.
All day long. Wednesday, baby. How you feel, Doc, on the Wednesday?
Great.
That's what I'm talking about. We about to make this thing happen, right? Introducing our first guest for this evening. You know, my man come all the way from New York City. My man's James C.B. Gray. What up, Jay?
Hey, what's up?
What up, bro?
Good.
Looking sharp, my dude.
Thank you, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Looking clean over there, man.
Thank you.
Like, get the
How you
lights up.
feeling, man?
No, I'm good.
That's good.
Get
man.
the
Good to
lights
see you,
up.
man. Good
Happy
to
to
see
be
you,
here,
man. So, before we start the show, there's a lot of things been going on in the community, right?
Yeah.
We want to touch on that later, but right now, tell everybody where you from, and you know how it's like growing up as a young James Gray.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, brothers, for bringing me back here. I was here 4 or 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and I'm happy to be back, man. Just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Mount Vernon. A lot of people don't know that because I've been in Harlem so long, and I'm moving around.
New
so
York,
much.
baby, it's New York. Can you
You
turn the
know.
mic up a little bit, man?
Turn his
But,
up.
Can't hear us at all.
His.
yeah.
1 2 1 2. There we go. That's good.
Testing. So yeah, I'm originally from Mount Vernon, money in Mount Vernon, and you know, 3rd and 3rd, the danger zone, like one of the worst locations
The danger
in
zone.
Mount Vernon. Yeah.
What street is that? 3rd and 3rd?
Yeah, right on 3rd and 3rd. Yeah, that's
Why they call it the danger zone?
that was one of the worst parts of Mount Vernon. In the heart of the crack epidemic in Mount Vernon, that was like ground zero.
Mhm.
You know, matter of fact, one of the first of Heavy D's boys got shot right there in the building, right on that corner. 210, Notorious. You know, the drug trade. You know, when the Jamaicans, man, back then that's back when the Shower Posse was heavy.
So what's the 80s you're talking?
Yeah. You know, and it was real. So what happened was my father, who started the 3rd Avenue Block Association. You know, so as a kid, I'm watching my father, you know, going to war with the drug dealers,
Mhm.
you know, on our block, and you know, as a young black boy, you know, my father was the first image I saw of someone I wanted to be like.
Mhm.
You know, my father was one of the highest paid black chefs in the United States.
Okay.
You know, during the 80s and 90s, and I'm watching him like conquer so much, but he started off in that community by creating a coalition to protect the people. You know, he worked alongside the mayor and everything like that in order to try to make the place safe and create opportunities for people. So I saw that as a kid, you know, and that really inspired me. I was part of Mayor Ronald Blackwood's campaign as, you know, on the street team, and didn't realize till years later that I was part of a campaign that elected the first black mayor in New York State history.
Wow.
Everybody thinks it's David Dinkins, but Mayor Ronald Blackwood was the first black mayor in the history of the state of New York in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
You know, and like I said, I was just a young kid passing out flyers, but I was a part of that.
Right.
And I witnessed that victory,
Mhm.
you know, and years later, you know, I'm in politics, I'm in community, I'm in, you know, the network here in Harlem, and thinking back, that's where it started, you know, as a kid for me.
So what did you do, like, growing up as a kid, though? Like, I mean, like, did you play ball? Did you what did you do?
Well, you know, actually,
Did you sing?
my-
Did you dance? What did you do as a kid?
my mother, she gave me an ultimatum on one time when I was a kid. She said, "Do you want this Nintendo game or you want a drum set?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I want a drum set." And that changed my entire life and the dynamics, because that drum set took me all the way around the world, played with a lot of.
Oh, so you play drums?
Yeah.
I play drums too.
Word.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I do. So he don't know my past. He's a hater, man.
No.
I had my hold up. Time out. Let's Silly Spice over there laugh. So when I was 5 years old, my mother bought me a blue drum set. You understand what I'm saying, though? I had the whole drum set. And the reason why she bought the drum set, because I used to always, when I was at eating breakfast, I was always beating on the table. Dude always, we doing the beat on the table and all that.
Yeah,
So they dude always beating on the table. So Christmas, they had a whole drum set. I said, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? So I started playing the drums. And I got so good with the drums, I played in the band. I played in the marching band. I played the snare drum. I played in parades and stuff like that. We used to go to Baltimore. They used to bust us down there. And I used to walk and play the snare drum. I played drum for a long time, Doc.
Wow.
Real talk. They had a drum, drum pad. You
Yeah,
practice. Oh, I did all that stuff, man. But then I stopped at some point. But I did play the drums, man.
Wow. Well, so look, me and my band are playing Friday night. If you're not busy, man.
Are you in the band?
No, I got a band.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you. From there,
Where y'all playing at?
Peace Cafe.
So how many guys in your band?
I got 5-piece band right now.
5-piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son has a
What
band
type
too.
of band you have? Y'all played like
Yeah, we do all the old school classics, yeah, man. Old school stuff, man. James Brown, Marvin Gaye.
Y'all
So
so
you
play
did
holding
that.
back.
You're a man of many talents. So let's take it back, right? So when you got the drum set, you said, then what?
So what happened was my uncle was Melba Moore's drummer at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Frankie J, my uncle Zoye. Now my mother is his older sister. She bought him his first drum set back when Jackson 5 was big, and that was like the biggest thing ever. So he paid it forward by doing the same thing for me and teaching me the rhythms and everything like that. So I was already learning from like 3-4 years old. By the time I was in school, I was pretty good too. So what happened was, in order to play in the elementary school band, you had to be in the 4th grade. So what they would do is every spring concert, before the spring concert, they would take all the best drummers from the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and they would have a competition to see who's the best. The best drummer plays the drum set for a real band in the spring concert. So, I'm in 3rd grade, so they don't even know I exist, but I'm in here just watching to see what happens. And when they took a break from the competition, I jumped on the set and started going crazy. And they came, I was so little, they had to look over the set to see. and I'm over there playing my heart out because I'm like, yo, I'm not even supposed to be here. They could just tell me to get out, So they said, yo, go get the principal. And they got the principal, and he said, oh, he's playing. So he's like, he's only in the 3rd grade? They said, it's a shame that he's only in 3rd grade. He's played better than all you guys.
That's 3rd grade, man.
So I ended up.
That's kind of young, man. So
Yeah.
hold on. Time.
Yeah.
Let me check this story out a little bit.
3rd grade,
Yeah.
8 years old.
Yes. So what happened was,
That's 8 years. Yeah.
I played in the spring concert with a real band.
Yeah.
And after that, they put me in the 4th grade band. So now 4th grade, you play the cymbals. 5th grade, you play the bass drum. 6th grade, you play the snare. I'm in 3rd grade in the 4th grade band playing the snare drum. So that was it for me.
That snare is something else, man.
Man, yo, that was everything. It was made way bigger than any video game could ever been for me.
Mhm.
And like I said, it took me all around. I played with a couple of major artists and everything like that. But it really helped me I had my own marching band with the kids. That was one of my dreams. I played with the Martin Luther King Drum Corps, Mount Vernon, and all that. And that really was like so big for me.
So you was in parades and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. A lot of parades.
That's some fun, right?
That right there is like such a rush.
Oh,
Adrenaline rush. You know what I'm saying?
We do the
played-
parade every year. We saw you at the parade. We always there. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we love the smiles on the kids' face, man.
Yes, that's the big
When they
thing.
be there, they
And
be
parades
so happy at
are
that parade.
parades is like a very fun thing, man.
Yeah, I love
Like, cause
parades.
like Doc said, we've been in like 3 times. Cause we on African American Day Parade committee. What?
Yeah.
To watch it and to be in is 2 different feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Watching it is fun too, but being in it is like,
Oh man,
it's a big thing,
even
man.
More fun. I'll be on the back of the convertible now. Man, I don't even do the floats though.
Yeah.
We was on the floor, but we had a good time.
Yeah,
and
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
The African American Day Parade is my favorite parade, and I do all the parades. I even did the Dominican Day Parade and all that.
Mhm.
But the African American, it's really for the heritage. And actually, the one in Harlem is the biggest one in the United States. You know that?
What?
Yeah, the biggest African American Day Parade in the United States, and it's getting bigger.
Yeah, cause we working hard on it. We want to really approve the parade. We want to go to a next level
Yeah.
because they really shortened the parade. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
compared to
It used to go up to 145th Street.
143rd, 145th
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But now,
But you know what
it
happened
stopped
after they had that shootout?
that shooting. But Jamaican Jamaican parade.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you about that.
Oh, every year.
Spanish
They do it every
joint
year.
is
Every year.
The politics.
They killed one of the politicians
Yeah,
over there,
Yeah,
man.
the politics behind that is this. they arrest so many people during that parade every
Right.
year.
Uh-huh.
So where when people say, hold on, if every year something like this, all this stuff goes down, why don't y'all stop it? They like, no, we'll never stop this parade.
You can't stop
You know what I'm saying?
You talk about
Because
the Jamaican parade?
yeah, the West Indian parade.
West Indian.
You know,
parades. You can't. Parades have to happen.
yeah, that's a
Police just
cultural-
have to police,
Yeah,
but parades
yeah,
have
yeah.
to happen, man.
But why ours get short? But why ours should get short?
You know, I don't think that they were.
Ours don't get televised or nothing.
Yeah, I don't.
No, it got televised last year. I mean, the
I don't
last
think
parade
that-
was televised, man. They had channel 11, channel 5, channel 7. Yeah, you didn't see them like out and out, but later on, I turned on the TV when I went. I said, "Oh, the parade's on TV, chat." Yeah, it was on. It was on.
But they're turning it up. Though.
I saw Billy
it's
on
getting
there.
bigger.
When
Yeah.
Billy, when we was on the float, Billy and Bear, when they had the pink on, I seen the float on channel 7. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up. That's my favorite parade.
So, all right. So back to you being a drummer. The drummer opened up doors for you. You did marching bands. You did parades.
Well,
and
look,
then where did your life go after that?
let me tell you one thing that I always try to tell parents is a child that plays a musical instrument actually has access to brain function capability that the average child doesn't have.
Mhm.
The only thing that's more powerful than that is accelerated reading, and there's not a lot of children that are doing accelerated reading.
Mhm.
So a musical instrument, I'm always either playing a musical instrument or even speaking another language. That right there, as a child, those things are so fundamental when it
Mhm.
comes to the early childhood brain developmental process.
Mhm.
So I'm always encouraging, instead of the game, instead of this right here, because if you look at the statistical data that comes along with sports, as a child, it's great coming up. It's great for them to bond and everything like that. But in reality, how many of those kids are actually going to make it to the NBA?
Correct.
How many are actually going to make it to the Major League Baseball or the NFL?
Mhm.
It get cuts in half by like thousands. So even if they do have potential in sports, you always want to have a backup plan, and economics, and even music, which is a great, alternative.
Mhm.
Once again, it opens up your brain function in so many different ways
Yeah, it does.
to help you in school. Like, see, I knew when if my grades wasn't up, I couldn't play in a band. That couldn't happen.
Right.
So I was already focused on doing whatever I had to do to stay playing those drums. If they even threatened to take them away from me, I would go harder. I stayed on the honor roll, and I even was able to motivate others. I even made it cool to be in a band. It was a time when being in a band was like a nerdy thing. Like, oh, he's a sucker, he's gay. This type of stuff they would say about, brothers who wanted to play a musical instrument. But what happened was, I got the musical director to understand. I said, look, you see over there on the other side of that field, they playing everything on the radio. And those cheerleaders are motivating those football players. It's a chain effect.
Mhm.
And those football players are beating us right now.
Right.
You want to reverse the energy? Let's rock something for those cheerleaders to get those football players excited.
Mhm.
And she like, okay, do what you got to do. And next thing you know, me and my guy Scotty, we put together a dope beat, and the cheerleaders look back. They immediately got into it. And the football players looking at them is literally a chain reaction.
So what school you went
that
to?
yeah.
Oh man, I went to Catholic school as elementary school. I went to military school.
Okay. Which
And
one?
then, Camp Shelby Military Academy, and that was in
Where that was at?
that was in Mississippi. Well, see, my father's from Mississippi too.
Right.
That's another thing, and that's a whole nother story.
So why they send you there?
I got accepted.
Okay.
It was
This
it
high
was-
school you talk about, right?
Yeah. So
All
once I came-
boys?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So right after that, I went right into the Army.
Okay. So you was in the military.
Yeah.
So in the
Okay.
military, you played instrument there too.
Not for the actual band, but I played. They had like an off band, that I would play with, but I wasn't in like the military marching band.
So what was your purpose of going to military? Education?
At the time, I really wanted to. I had my grandfather was military. I had military family members. My uncle, Chris Jackson. He was a big influence on me with that. And I said, you know what, this is a good route. And I did 2 terms in there, came out, and I got to a point where I just didn't want to make it a career
Mhm.
anymore. And I said, you know what, I did my tour. Let me get back out here into the world. I started seeing a lot of things, especially in the community that was going on. I'm like, you know what, let me get into this and see if we could make some change, see if we could really.
What age was that when you got out?
I got out 27.
Mhm.
Yeah. And came back to New Rochelle. My mother's from New Rochelle,
Mhm.
you know, and I was out there for a minute. As soon as I came out, this place called New Rock City was opening up. They were just like they had just built it.
Jamal, right?
Yeah. Sports complex.
Yeah, I take my kids there.
Oh yeah,
they love it in New Rock City.
And
Yeah, I've been up there a couple times.
so I went over there and I saw a friend of mine who was doing security there. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? He's like, yo, man, you got military background, right? Yo, they'll make you a supervisor. And, you know, at the time it was kind of like, all right, you know, let me do something. You know, I want to do something that's along the lines. And I got into it and I did that for about 2 or 3 years. And along the process, I started really, you know, looking at, and that's what led to the acting. You know what I'm saying? Right there. Like after about 2 years of doing that, my man Los Jones, who's one of the two I told you about that's still in the game with me, he's like, yo, man, I just did this audition. You should come with me. And I went down there with him. And it was cool. I was Ulysses Terrero, Jesse Terrero's brother. And it was for a Nike commercial. And, you know, this thing was, it was big. But in the beginning, like, I was just getting in, so I didn't really understand.
So you did it with no prior acting experience?
Yeah. You know, and I said, you know, it was something I always wanted to get into, but I just didn't really know how. And, you know, right after that, I started seeing, you know, auditioning for other things. But I said, you know what, I want to really take this thing seriously. I want to get acting lessons and do it the right way. And that's how I found Tina Satin, who was Denzel Washington's acting coach, and start studying with her. And man, she taught me so much. But she was rough though. I mean, like she was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
Like before we start the class, she's all nice. Every soon we start, she just like Wicked Witch of the West.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, you know. But later on, I understood it, and it helped me to get better.
So what was the hardest part about learning how to act for you?
Well, you know what? I think the hardest part for a lot of people is
Monologue?
no. It's really like the psychological part of it is being real within yourself.
With the character.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So your job as an actor is to convince your audience that you are this character.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the key.
And once so even along the process of studying, rehearsing, whatever, you still have to check yourself like, hold on, man, I'm really not embodying this character. Like I really got to do it. And I think that if you're really self-conscious enough to understand that kind of psychological breakdown, you could get deeper and deeper into character. Some people go too far. Like I've spoken to actors that like started doing heroin to get in touch with a character.
Yeah, that's overboard.
I'm not doing that.
You
They keep that role.
You overact.
They can keep that role, man. Right, you know what I'm saying? You
No, we ain't doing
got to get some methadone and all. Now we ain't not doing that. That's crazy.
And that's a little
That's too far gone.
Yeah. But I've studied a lot of different characters, and see, like the more information you have about a character, and that's sometimes when I talk to a director, I'm like, yo, you know, give me as much detail. So, because if it's a real person, it's easier. But if it's a fictional character, now you got to make up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, I got you.
and it's not as real, you know.
So what movies and stuff you was in?
Man, I did a couple of joints. I did a lot of TV shows, episodes. Matter of fact, I just did a film. I just started in a film called They Devour. We're shopping it to Netflix right now. You know, we just had a big premiere at the Regal Cinemas on Times Square on January 21st. It was real nice.
It's a big budget movie.
It's a mid budget range.
Mid-budget.
You know, we got a couple of people in there. Well, I'm the star.
Oh, you're
You
a
know.
star.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You know,
So how long it took y'all to shoot it?
We shot this film in about 21 days. Yeah.
How long is the supposed to be 2-hour film?
It's about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Yeah,
21 days?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
We busted it out, man.
What's your character?
My character's name is Yalua. It was actually a script that was originally an African script that was transposed into an Americanized version. But it's a true story about a multimillionaire who is running this big hotel and owns a lot of property and everything, and gets entangled with a young lady. But also my wife, she's like mad that I'm messing around with other chicks on the side, and she's kind of, you know, mad at me. And this investor comes in and he's trying to cut in on our you know, fortune on the real estate side. And he's like talking to her, and she's, you know, she's kind of like, you know what, I should, because he's doing me dirty. But at the end of the day, she's like, nah, I can't really do him like that. You know what I'm saying? So we
Don't give it all away.
Well, you know.
Don't give it all. Leave something for them to see. You know, we need your callers to call in, man. We got my man James CB Great, 646-628-4264. 646-628-4264. So let me ask you a question. So now you say you played the star of the movie, right?
Yeah.
All right. 21 days for an hour and a half film?
Yeah.
It's a lot of days, man.
Yeah, we was busting it out, man. We did well. And what happens is when you start breaking down the script on a production level, in order to save money, you know, you really want to be
space it out. So how many scenes did you do per day?
We did about 3-4 scenes a day.
That's why.
Yeah.
And they ain't do that many scenes. But we just shot a movie not too long ago, you know. Shout out to the B139, you know. And we did about 11 scenes.
Oh, damn.
In a day.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
We did a lot of scenes, man.
That's a lot.
We did a lot of scenes. That's why I was trying to figure it out, because our movie was an hour and like 25 minutes. Yours is an hour and a half. Yeah. You did 21 days, and we did ours in like 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we had a lot of scenes, so it makes sense. If you only did 3 scenes per day, then y'all really stress it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was, you know, we could have did it in half that time, but what happened is we took some time in between to redevelop the script on a couple of scenes too. So it kind of slowed it down. But I think, you know, collectively we got a good production.
All right, so I want to double back for a minute, right? When I first met you a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're a friend of the show. You've been on the show before.
Yeah.
And you were working with the National Action Network in Harlem and in the Bronx. Let's talk about that. How did you get involved with that?
Okay, so I became, well, at the time I was producing a TV show on NBC called The Joey Reynolds Show on NAS.
Talk a little louder.
Yeah, I was producing a TV show called The Joey Reynolds Show on NBC, and we was filming on Times Square 5 nights a week and everything. And along that process, I got beat up by the police. And at the time, I was like, you know, I couldn't believe, like, I'm not a criminal. I don't do anything.
You got beat up by the police, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened there? Like,
so
what happened?
All right, so I was coming from a block party, and 3 cops rolled up on me, and they said, where's the bottle? I said, what bottle? They said, we just saw you drinking a beer. I said, okay, y'all saw me drinking a beer? Wow. So I thought they was playing, you know, and what it was 2 rookie, I could say it was 2 rookie cops and a veteran, you know, on the beat. And you could tell the way it was set up, like he's showing them the ropes in Harlem and all that. And so I said, man, now listen, y'all ain't see me drinking no beer. They said, no, we just saw you from across the street. I said, okay, so look, from across the street to here now, if you saw me drinking a beer, at some point in time, you would have seen me throw the bottle, or I would still have it in my hand, right? They're like, yeah, well, we saw you with it. I said, okay, listen, man, first of all, I don't even drink beer. Okay, so that's number one. I don't know what y'all talking about. He's like, yeah, we just saw you. I said, okay, you know what? So he kept on going. I said, all right, listen, technically, if I was drinking a beer in your face right now, there's either one or two things you could do. You could ask me to pour it out, or you could write me a $25 ticket. All right.
That's it.
That's like if I had a beer in my hand, you know.
Right.
And he's like, oh, you smart, you wise guy. I said, no, I'm not smart. I'm just telling you, number one, I didn't have no beer. You don't see me with a beer in my hand. So I'm like, yo. So next thing I know, he kept on going. I said, listen, you didn't approach me about, you know, oh no, so no. Then he said, then I told him literally, even if I had a beer in my hand, you couldn't even arrest me. That's not an arrestable offense.
Right.
So my lawyer later on told me, don't ever tell a cop they can't arrest you. They will break every law possible to prove you wrong at that moment.
Mhm.
All right. So he said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Yeah, you couldn't arrest me even if I had to." Because I was starting to get mad at that point.
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, you couldn't even arrest me." So okay. So he grabbed my wrist. He pulls out the handcuffs, and I pulled back. I said, "Why am I being arrested?"
Yeah.
He ain't say nothing. I said, "Okay, guess what? You got to tell me why I'm being arrested." So he grabbed my wrist again, pulled back the second time. He said, "Resisting arrest." I said, "Okay, hold on. You can't go from A to C without B. B being substantiating your initial approach. You didn't approach me for resisting arrest. You approached me for open container that you can't find."
Mhm.
So then the two rookies like, "Oh shit, you know what he's talking about."
Right.
And that cop got mad. He just took me and threw me up against the wall. It was like a Rodney King session, right?
Wow.
They beat me up so bad. I had a submarine watch that they cracked. You know how hard it is
Yeah,
to
they cracked that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So after that, the sergeant comes to the scene. They got me in the handcuffs and everything.
So they arrested you after the beating?
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why. So what happens is
White cops.
it was a black cop who was
Always,
teaching
man.
these white cops.
Black cop, black cop, black cop.
You know, and
That's one thing about that, man.
that's the
You
worst
know?
part. You know.
Black cops is worse than the white cops, man. We're gonna talk about that later on another show.
So now what happens is the sergeant comes to the scene and he says to the black guy, he said, you sure know how to pick him. Like, what you mean? He said, did you look in his wallet? Nah. Pull out my wallet, NAACP card, National Action Network card, my uncle's lieutenant badge. I mean, everything,
Right,
Screen
everything.
Actors Guild, everything you could imagine
Right.
for someone who's not a criminal.
Correct.
You know.
No criminal history.
Yeah.
Right.
So now what happens is they say, okay, look, you know, we're gonna straighten this thing out. But you got to come down to the. I said, listen, if I'm on arrest, it's cool. But if I'm not, y'all can just let me go.
So you wasn't hurt or nothing?
Yeah, man. The crazy part is
I said Rodney King, baby. There had been something
Yeah,
going on.
but I'm just saying how functional he talking. Like, well, if I go down there, like,
Oh
you know,
yeah, no, I was giving them. I was really trying to let them know. Listen, the damage is done. Let's just move it on because you know somebody gonna have to answer for this. So the sergeant was trying to be cool. He was like, "All right, look, everything's cool. We're just gonna ask you a couple questions." You know, so I said, well, look, if I'm not under arrest, you could just let me go. I'll meet you guys at the station. That's when I knew when they wouldn't let me go that they were conspiring. Because now, after they saw who I was with all that idea, they said, okay, now we have to create the scenario that makes him wrong. That we got to vilify him in order to substantiate what we just did.
Right. They got to cover their ass pretty much.
Literally. So when they got me down at the station, they in a huddle. And they go in there and I see what's happening. So my guy come in there. He's like, yo, you all right, man? I said, yeah, I'm cool. So they say, yo, listen, we're going to have to put you through the system. I said, look, I already know. Do what y'all got to do. So when they sent me to central booking.
Damn, they put you through the system?
Yeah. Because see, they knew how, you know, they knew what they was dealing with. So when they get to central booking, my lawyer says, yo, I just came from evidence. I said, from what? You came from evidence? Okay, what'd you see in evidence? He said, I saw a beer bottle. I said, hold up.
Or they went and bought a beer bottle.
They showed you a beer bottle? He said, yeah. I said, okay, look, tell the DA if they find one of my fingerprints on that bottle, I'll take the charge. So he went back. He said, oh, they threw it out. Of course, because my fingerprints not on.
Wow.
But guess what? He said nobody really ever challenged a container. Yes, I said, see that? This is how little we know a lot of times in fighting for ourselves. So long story short, after that, I said, okay, what else they got? Resisting arrest. I said, okay, come on. He said, no, you know, resisting arrest could get you a year on Rikers. I'm like, what? You know, I didn't know that. So I'm like, all right, look, we're going to have to just ride this out until they throw that out. 2 years later, that's how long it took them to throw that out. All right.
But you were home, though. You were home.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is this. How many people could go actually 2 years without losing a job or losing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know people that took charges just because they couldn't miss no more days of work.
Right.
And they got it set up like that too. So long story short, I went through that whole process. They was going to go all the way to trial. Oh, they was bluffing. Y'all ready to go to trial? We ready? I said, yeah, we ready. Okay, cool. Every time I said I was ready, they're like, all right, we got to adjourn this, come back. So I'm like, all right. They finally got around to it. My lawyer found out that the officer that initiated all of that was being sued by like 3 other people for police brutality. Once my lawyer found out, that was it.
That was it.
That's when it's okay. Look, we ready to settle. We could throw this thing out. Once they threw it out, then I was eligible to file my lawsuit. That was another year and a half. You know what I'm saying? But
So you got a lawsuit out of it.
yeah, one. Yeah.
So you got good money out of it?
Yeah, I got. They said I got the most that anybody with my particular case ever got.
Oh, that's good.
You
So
know,
you able to ball out.
But see, it wasn't so much about the money. When I started really doing the research on this thing, this whole process, and see, God puts you in situations sometimes to raise your awareness and understanding about things and situations, because I always consider myself not a criminal, not that would never be in a situation like this. But I was put in a situation like this, and it gave me a unique opportunity to create a platform to speak about these situations. And once I won that lawsuit, I said, okay, now I need to align myself with an organization that does this kind of work.
Gotcha.
And that's how the National Action Network came
Yeah,
about.
that's what's up.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
what's up, yeah.
Now,
So you got Al Sharpton.
well, look, the crazy part is this. My mentor at the time, Chuck Foster, man, R.I.P. This brother played with 3 Negro League baseball teams, man. And he was an African-American historian like me too. And we really hit it off. And he was telling me like, yo, you need to go see Sharpton. And now the crazy part is this. The same day he was trying to get me to meet Reverend Sharpton, somebody gave me a flyer. And the flyer had Reverend Sharpton in a rat suit. And I'm like, hold on. So this whole meeting was about Reverend Sharpton. And it's the same day that my mentor was telling me, no, you need to meet Reverend Sharpton. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I threw the flyer away. But it's just so crazy how it was the same day. And I went to meet Reverend Al Sharpton, and Chuck Foster introduced me to him. And
you told him what happened?
Well, see, they had his daughter and they had heard about my case. You know what I'm saying? And we knew each other through mutual friends too.
Yeah, because you said you had a card in your
as a member, you know, but like really like coming on being really hands-on and volunteering.
Yeah,
that came after the case, and I was just like, when I used to watch Reverend Sharpton on TV, I'm like, wow, I used to love his motivation, his words, and I said I want to be a part of this. Along the process of me even fighting the case, I started really getting more into him, and when I finally got there, I said, yo, this is it. This is the perfect place, because I said I want to help as many people as possible, and the best way for me to do that is to become an activist, so I could really help as many people. And I still got that spirit, but back then I was like overdrive.
How long ago was this?
Let me see. I joined in 2013. Yeah, and 2018 is when we launched the Bronx chapter of the National Action Network.
That's where you went over there.
Yeah, I was the executive vice president there. But when I was in Harlem, I would open up Reverend Sharpton's show every Saturday with a Black History Civil Rights speech, and that right there, that's how a lot of people got to know me more and see me more. Like, because
you remember the speech?
Well, I did a different speech every week.
You remember any of them?
I mean, not word for word by heart, but what I would do is this: I would take, like, say for instance, today is the 59th anniversary of the assassination of Malcolm X. So this would have been a perfect speech for Saturday, and to memorialize or to highlight. And it was the name of the speech segment that I had was called the Civil Rights Highlight segment. So it would be a Black history event or Black history fact that was either from the Civil War era, the Civil Rights era, Civil War era, or slavery, or just highlighting achievements of Black, African Americans. And so I was doing my Black History campaign back then. Matter of fact, this is my 15th year of posting Black History 365 days a year, and on social media.
Right.
So when Reverend Al Sharpton's daughter, Dominique, had told Reverend Al Sharpton, what I was doing with that, he's like, yo, see if he wants to, come on the show and do it. And that's how I started doing it. And I took that to another level, man. I had a lot of fun with that, but it was a great opportunity to get more exposure and, also be more in tune with the network.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So the accident with the beating, what borough was in?
That was Harlem.
Harlem,
yeah.
So you said you joined in 2013.
Yeah.
So I see you moving around. A lot of people, like you said, know you.
Yeah,
And so how you feel like a kid come from Mount Vernon with the band? You had a lot going on to act in the band, but you like kind of big in this right here. Now you said you're vice president, right?
Well, no, I was appointed as the vice president of the National Action Network Bronx
in the
chapter.
Bronx, right?
I did that for about 3 years, and then I was appointed as the president of the Arc of Justice, which is like a sister civil rights organization led by Kirsten John Foy, who was also one of Reverend Al Sharpton's top lieutenants. Back when I was there with him. So now we got an organization called the Strong Enough Achievers Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still under Al Sharpton.
No. After Nan, but like I said, with
you ain't with Nan no more.
No, I'm not with Nan. I mean, it's not a bad situation. It was National Action Network was an amazing platform.
It's a platform for you to move on to other things.
Everybody like Tamika Mallory. I was there when she was leaving out. I was coming in. Reverend Kevin McCall.
William Allen.
Matter of fact, when I left Harlem and went to the Bronx chapter, that's when William Allen came in.
Right.
And him and Derek Perkinson.
Right.
So and that's like all these we all came out of Reverend Al Sharpton's civil rights boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Tamika Mallory was with y'all too.
Yeah.
So where's she at now?
She got that.
She got her own stuff.
Yeah,
right?
she got what's the name of that? Till Freedom. I forgot the exact name of it, but she got a.
What organization is that?
I don't know where she's based out. I know she does a lot of stuff out of DC. And she's traveling around.
She's from New York, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think she has an office.
Yeah,
I think she just travels.
Yeah, I think,
and she's heavy on social media.
Yeah.
I
think, like I said, it's Till Freedom. I forgot the exact name of it, but they got a whole organization going on. They're moving around doing some big things.
So Williams Allen, he's still with Nan?
No. He left Nan too. And like I said, another great, brother who used that as a stepping stone. But like people. I'm not with Nan right now, but Nan is always going to be a part of my history, my legacy. A lot of people.
Or sometimes you can work in conjunction.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I was just at Nan for the legal night they had 2 weeks ago. It was great to see everybody again. Ashley's like my sister, man. Ashley Sharpton, Dominique. Those are like my sisters, And Reverend Sharpton's like a godfather to me. He took me under the wing and really showed me love,
So how was when you left? Like what year you left and how was it? Because you said Nan is in your system.
Yeah.
So how was when you had to come to Sharpton and be like, yo, you moving on? You did great things. Now you moved up to president from a kid to getting beat up in 13.
Yeah.
Now you join Nan and now he put you in the Bronx faction.
Yeah. No, it was all love.
How was it? What year was it?
Well, I left in 2019. Yeah, 19, 20. No, 2000. At the end of 2019, and went to the Arc of Justice. And like I said, the Arc of Justice and Nan work together.
Where they located?
Arc of Justice is out of Brooklyn.
Okay.
Reverend Kirsten John Foy.
Right.
He's out of Brooklyn, and that was like my big brother when I was at Nan. He showed me a lot too.
Oh, he was at Nan too.
Yeah. He was at.
So
Nan.
he pulled you in.
Yeah, he was at Nan. He left Nan, but not like it wasn't no beef or nothing like that. It was mutual, and he launched the Arc of Justice organization, and then after like about 2 years in, he asked me if I wanted to come in.
So here's the deal, right? With all that, you need. The National Action Network is a big organization. Al Sharpton, everybody know Al Sharpton, been around a long time, Martin Luther King time, all that type of stuff. But you got to form a lot more coalitions around because, people grow and they grow, like you grow under Nan and then you form your own and then you bring people up.
Yeah.
And then the people you bring up form their own and it's like a pyramid effect.
Like
and because we need more of that because we still fighting the same fight.
Yeah.
So how did you and Aisha mate with the street corners and stuff like that?
Okay, so the interesting thing is when I was at Nan in Harlem doing the show with Reverend Al Sharp, so I would open up the show with the civil rights highlight speech. Then after my speech, Dr. Aisha Sekou would come on and she would give the anti-violence update. So Sister Aisha Sekou was the president, she was the chair of the anti-violence committee for the National Action Network. So she was there too.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. We all came up there, through there together.
Mm-hmm.
So after Dr. Aisha would do her speech, then Reverend Kirsten John Foy, Reverend Kevin McCall, and then Reverend Sharpton would come on and close out. So that's how it would be like every Saturday. And
how many people be in the audience about?
Packed, man. That place would be filled. You know what I'm saying? Arnold Penix would also do like the arts and culture speech, but then Reverend Sharpton was the last one to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we would always go to Sylvia's and strategize on doing more with anti-gun violence, outside of Nan. And that's how we started strategizing with the Street Corner Resources. She had already had a blueprint and had started moving, and we came together and she like, yo, this is what we're trying to do.
She doing some big things, man. Shout out to Aisha, man.
Dr. Aisha.
Dr. Aisha, that's a friend of the show. I love her to death. She's a very good person. She she got she got trucks running all up and down. She got small trucks, big trucks.
Nice budgets.
She got about 3 different buildings, street corners.
Yeah,
she's killing them in the community. And I'm gonna tell you something, she got a lot of heart because soon somebody gets shot, she pulls up.
Yeah, she go right to the house.
10 minutes later, she ain't afraid. She right there and she's speaking. None of them little kids, they see her, they go, Miss Aisha. They move out, Dr. They out the way.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm like back in the days when I grew up, when your moms came outside, everybody freeze.
Yeah.
When they see her,
She
them gangs and all that, they move out the way. They give her respect because they see what she stand for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she got a grant, man. She got a grant where they looked out for her.
She got a nice grant.
A serious grant. We had her on the show before she had the grant.
Yeah, she ain't had nothing.
So I'm walking around Harlem, I'm seeing street corner. The parade. She got 3 floats.
She had 3 floats.
We was on one of her floats.
She had 3 floats.
Shout out to street corner with that cash. We was on her float. She got, I want y'all on my float. You know what I'm saying? And, yo, man, between the NAN, between organizations that you've been working with, affiliated with, between street corners and stuff like that, it's like some powerful Black people that's been through stuff and fighting for our community, man. So Mayor Adams, man, what's your take on Mayor Adams? I've seen you, been around him quite a few times. What's your take in your conversation like with him?
Let me tell you, everybody asked me that question, man. And
because there's some negative about him, and there's some positive about him,
Yeah, but let me tell you, my thing is this, and me and Sister Dr. Aisha Sekou had a conversation about it, and her perspective really helped me enlighten me more on how we could work together to make to resolve these issues. And the big thing is that man has a lot of responsibility, a lot of things that he has to do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talks about what they would do if they was in that position, but once you get in that position, you realize, wow, I'm probably just as clueless as the last person, or I really don't know, or even if I do, what I need is people to understand and give me a shot to do what needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Now, once you mess up, it's a different thing. But I think that we need to give him an opportunity to show what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of components in this equation, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's to the point where he's abandoned his post or he's been negligent to the point where we're like, getting a major backlash. I think this is a work in progress of understanding what we're dealing with, across the board. This is bigger than just New York City.
It definitely is.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. This is bigger than just New York City. This is a national effort to demonize and destroy and throw people under the bus and all this stuff. So we got to really look at the entire spectrum. You know, if you just look at New York City and Mayor Adams is the bad guy, you're not going to really see the solution, and we're not ever going to really probably get there with that ideology. So, you know, one thing I love about Dr. Aisha Sekou is she looks at it from the big perspective and has a great understanding of how, you know, she's working, you know, strategizing with him, you know, as much as she can to be that voice of reason, to be the one that can equalize and help people have a better understanding.
So she worked close with him?
She
Very
has.
close, man. Every
Yeah.
time you see him on TV
Well,
and he doing a speech or something, she's on the left side or
So,
right side.
yeah.
Sometimes she right next to him. I see her all the time, man.
yeah. So you gotta understand
She's strong, man.
that, you know, when it comes to gun violence, that was one of the biggest agendas. Yeah, he ran on gun violence on a ticket.
That's true.
You know, so you know she is one of the experts on this when it comes, and there's a couple other people, but she's, you know, when it came down from Mayor de Blasio, you know, she was in that position.
Yes, she was.
And you know,
That's where it started.
You know, so
De
Mayor
Blasio,
Adams, you know, he looks to her for advice sometimes, and they talk about things. So she's in a good position, you know, to get his attention, but also to listen and see what's going on.
And she's the only one that's really in these streets
She's
all
in the
hours of the
streets.
night.
Yeah. A lot of people say they're in the streets, but
No, she's in the
streets.
She's in the streets where people don't want to be.
Yeah.
And she ain't got no gun or nothing like that.
No,
And she ain't got
yeah.
nobody around her. She be there.
And she
and she-
employed a lot of them kids
Yeah.
too.
Oh man.
Yeah,
She
she
got a
got
lot of people working.
Street
for
Corner
her.
Resources
Yeah.
employs probably more children and teens than anybody with the exception of the summer work program. You know, and when I'm saying that because I'm the board chair of this organization.
Mhm.
Oh, you the board chair? How
Street Corner, yeah.
yeah.
So I brought it up.
You know, and when I say that, I didn't just fill out an application or as such. I was there from the beginning, and I saw, and I was a part of this thing being built, and I stood with her when people was going against her. I stood with her when people was telling me, "Yo, don't mess with her. She's crazy." You know what I'm saying? And she really, you know, respected that, and she like, you know what, I need you here in this position. So I said, okay, let's do it. You know, and I've been with her ever since, man.
Let me ask you a
So
question.
you work with her and the officer in Brooklyn?
No. It was Arc of Justice. I'm not with them anymore.
Oh, so you just with her now?
I'm with Street Corner Resources, but I'm also with the Strong Enough Achievers Foundation. That's out of the Bronx.
So he's on the board, so that's like once in a while.
Yeah.
So what's your take on Cordell Clear?
Cordell, that's another great sister, man. I remember when she was district leader for a while, and she was working her way up in the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And
Shout out to Cordell Clear, man.
definitely.
I got to clap that, man. Cordell, we work with her a lot, man. Supported her a lot, and you know, it's a good thing.
Yeah, my cousin Anthony Gray works with her.
Yes, he
You know,
does.
that's my man, and you know. But Cordell, I remember when Cordell, same thing. When people they didn't want to support her. They, you know, was talking about her and all this crazy stuff. But she always stood strong. She was always a strong Black woman
Mm-hmm.
that knew, you know, that her day would come. And when it did, she just smiled and she knew that it was coming. You know, and
She was in them streets too.
Yeah.
Not like Aisha, but she was in them streets.
she was.
You
out
know,
there. She paid her dues. Man.
yeah, she paid her dues, man. She definitely did. That's why when she got elected, I was very happy because she earned it, man. You know, she definitely earned it. So
So Al Taylor.
My man.
Al Taylor's like the life of the party.
cool ass Al
Yo,
Taylor.
Al's like the life of the party.
Al
Yo,
is a cool,
every event
smooth
he's
dude.
There, he always smiling. He's like
Yo.
real joyful.
Al Taylor's like the hip hop politician.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And like I said, his
He's coming on the
energy.
show soon, so I just got to call him.
Oh man,
That's my man.
he's, you know, when I first met him, let me see. Yeah, it was years ago, and Danny Farrell, I think that was the assemblyman before him. Yeah, and we just had, you know, talking to somebody like Assemblyman Al Taylor is like a breath of fresh air because traditionally a lot of politicians are so uptight and, you know, robotic.
Yeah.
They don't even, okay, yo, talk to so and so. Al Taylor will sit look you in your eye and talk to you like a person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there, I think is so amazing, especially for the young people who talk to him. And he not only talk back, but he dances with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And he challenges them and he gives them words of wisdom. And he's also a pastor too. So
Right.
He a
that's it.
pastor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know that?
What church you work at?
I forgot the name of the church. It's up there on 147th, 148th.
Oh, I know he's a pastor.
It's on Macomb. I think it's on Macombs over there.
Yeah.
It's over
yeah,
by the Macombs, man.
Yeah.
Because I went over there one time, and he was there.
Yeah,
I took a picture with him.
He was doing it.
I like his
online.
energy. He got
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man.
Dynamic energy, man. I think that I did a whole thing about him one time when they was asking me who you think is a good politician that can reach the kids. I said, man, Assemblyman Al Taylor. That brother, they fall right into his aura because he's just so upfront. He's so real. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to talk to them. He's not afraid to give them the words of wisdom that they need.
So what's your take on I seen you in the picture with Yusef?
Oh, brother, Yusef.
Yusef Hawkins.
Yusef Salam. Yo, brother, Yusef Salam.
This guy here, man. What's wrong with your man, man?
Nah, it's a joke. It's a joke. Yusef Salam.
Yo.
Nah, I know. Yusef Hawkins the one who died.
yeah.
Come on, I'm joking, man. You know I'm gonna joke.
Okay.
But Yusef Salam.
Yusef Salam. Let me tell you, to see one of the Central Park Five rise to victory as now elected city council person, that right there lets you know that not only anything can happen, but true change is happening. Like when they sang that song "Change Gonna Come," this is the activation of that song. When you see this, and a lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. And I remember, like in the midst of it, there was a lot of people doubting and stuff. Oh, he was a look at Eddie Gibbs. Eddie Gibbs became the first elected official that has was a convicted felon. And they said for years he would never be. When he tried to become district leader, they was like no, and then it went from there. But eventually now he is a sitting assemblyman as a convicted felon. So Yusef Salam is like a dream come true for a lot of people, especially people who are previously incarcerated. That right there gives people hope.
Yes, it does.
You know what I'm saying? Because one of the biggest things that I always try to get people to understand is redemption is real. And for those who make a conscious decision to change their lives in a positive perspective, to show that they're no longer that person anymore, I think that they deserve that acceptance. I think they deserve that respect. And I think they deserve the acknowledgement too.
Yes, they do. That's 100%. Couldn't have said it no better. So recently, Yusef had a similar situation like yours, where he was like falsely accused when he was in a car and he got stopped because he had Georgia tags and he had tinted windows. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So
that was all over the news.
A lot of people all call me about all this stuff, man. And I try to keep it as real as possible, because one thing we got to stop doing is we got to stop getting caught up in he say, she say, and this and that. First of all, we got to go with the facts, and we have to line up with the reality of what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? He got pulled over. The tinted windows and tags could have been a prospect, right? Now the thing was, when he asked them why they did it, nobody was able to answer that question. You know what I'm saying? Now they said that he went online and said that he was harassed by the police or whatever, and their take on it from looking at the body cam was that he was lying. Okay, now that right there is relative, because you can say he's lying. You might not agree with him and say he's lying, or you could just automatically have an agenda that's like he's lying, and we got to be careful too, because from what he came out of, there's people that have already decided who they think he is and what they think he's going to do. So people have preconceived notions and sometimes fear behind these kind of situations that they can't control, they really don't understand, and in that perspective, they just shut things down or they amplify them. So in this situation, the Police Officers Benevolence Association, as they said that they went as far as calling for his resignation.
Right. I kind of figured something like that was going to try to happen.
You know, and like he just got in. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that already lets you know what kind of climate we're dealing with here. You know, somebody somewhere doesn't like the fact that he's in there.
You know that. You know that.
Yeah, and he, you know.
So any little thing that he do, they're going to try to penalize him for. And he didn't do anything wrong. All he did was drive his car.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you this. You know, one thing that I've seen is New York City. You could be living in New York City for 20 years and never come in contact with a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, "How's that?" Well, a lot of people in New York City don't drive. And if you look at other places, people drive, and that's a very easy way for police to target you.
Correct.
On the road, pull you over, all kind of crazy stuff. So there was a point where they said New York City had the most people who were wanted by the police because they could hide out here and never. Right now, if a police officer witnesses you commit a crime or somebody calls the police on you, those are one of the only two times that a police officer can approach you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So being in a car is the other is another way.
Right. If you're on foot or you're taking the train or the bus,
you might not never.
That's true.
Unless, like I said, somebody called the police on you, or you in an active committing a crime and the police witnesses that.
Otherwise, you can flow freely.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, we do have the profiling prospect too. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is this. You know, if say he had a driver.
Right.
He probably would have never been in that situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he would have had to have
it was
driver.
a profiling. It was 100% profiling.
Yeah.
It was the Georgia tags, and it was a 10, and it was a BMW. I've been there already.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there before where I got profiled, 145th Street. Cop said I was on the phone. I said, "How am I on the phone, officer? I got an earpod in."
Yeah.
Then he says, "Well, you didn't signal. You made a left turn." So I said, "Oh. What is it? You said I was on the phone. Then you said I didn't signal. Which one is it?" So I'm getting a little mad, like you got mad, but I'm being cool. Broad daylight, 12 in the afternoon. You know, I'm like, which one is it? He says license registration. I said, why I got to get my license registration? I ain't do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking cool. He said license registration, sir. I said, I gave it to him. I said, now, I challenged him like you did.
Yeah.
Attorney told me I can ask. I'm legal. I can ask for his badge number.
Yeah.
I said, what's your badge number? You got my paperwork. What's your badge number? Why I say that? Get out the car. Get out the car.
See.
Open the door. I get out the car. Him and other dude slam me on the hood. I'm on the hood like this here. I let them slam me. They ain't really slam me, you know. I'm like, why y'all doing this? Why y'all slam me on the car? So now I see like 4 other cars coming. All this, I didn't do nothing, my man.
Yeah.
So people out there with the cell phones, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I got a mag circle around me. I said, damn, I look like I just robbed a bank or something. And this dude lying, saying I was on the phone or I ain't signal. So now they take me off the hood of the car and they try to put me in the back of their car. That's where I draw the line. I'm strong. So when they try to put me in the car, they can't move me. 2 white boys, they can't move me. Get in the car. I'm not getting in the car. I ain't do nothing. Get in the car. I ain't getting in the car. I ain't do nothing. I ain't getting in the car. A sergeant pulled up, just like you. Always a sergeant. When he was telling me his story, I told the same thing. Here comes the sergeant. Yeah. Puerto Rican dude. What happened? I see a sergeant lying. I ain't do nothing. He said I did this or did that. I didn't do nothing. All my paperwork is clean. Come here. Brought me to the side. He says, listen, man, that's how we're going to do it. On 35th Street. He said, look, we're going to take you to the precinct, right? I'm looking at him, seeing what he got to say. We're going to take your car to the precinct. They're going to drive your car. And you're going to be out in 5 minutes. I said, all right, Sarge. Took me to the precinct. I was out in 5 minutes. All of that harassment for nothing. You see what I'm saying, though? Yeah. For nothing. And the Sarge was cool. He let me out just like he said. Gave me my car. I drive off. Come on, man. You know, so it's a lot of that profiling going on. Between his story, they said he was drinking. He wasn't drinking. Yeah. Me, they said I was on the phone. How I'm on the phone? Why the phone in my hand? I got an earpod on. Then you lied, said I didn't signal. I say, which one is it? You know, and it's a lot of profiling with the black man with the nice car. That's when I had the white BMW, the 750. I know what it was. You know why? I had the tents on it. They didn't like it. And I got Jersey plates. That's why they pulled me over. Had nothing to do with the phone, and it had nothing to do with me signaling. They seen the big boy, and they're like, yo, what this young dude driving his car?
Yeah.
You know, he must be doing something.
Exactly.
I'm a master trainer for 23 years, man. You know what I'm saying? 25 years. That's how I bought this, man. But back to you, right? What you think we can do, or is there anything we can do to stop these things from happening or lessen the blow, man?
Okay, so that's a broad question, and there's layers to it.
Right.
But one of the most imperative things is us becoming more active in the community, in these meetings, town hall, police council, but even more, important is starting at home with your kids. Okay. They have to, that's one thing I love about my parents. They kept it so real with us. We knew exactly what we was up against. When I was 10 years old, my mother bought me a book called Countering the Conspiracy to Kill Black Boys. That book changed my entire life at a young age. So I had an edge because I knew what I was up against. While all these other kids my age had no idea what they was up against. So that right there gave me a really good scope and of understanding. My parents just being real with me and letting me know, listen, this is what's happening, and this is what you need to be able to do to counteract that. So, but even more directly, like I said, this is another thing that motivated me to get more active in the community. Okay. If you look at right now, the police, NYPD specifically, they have this thing with profiling, like you said. They play the laws of averages. Okay, especially when it comes to young black males. If a detective or undercover cop or even plain clothes, if they are able to stop and frisk enough black boys, they're gonna find drugs, warrants, guns, and they, like I said, they play a lot of those averages because it works in their favor in this component. So what happens is, if they find a gun, guess what? Their illegal search and seizures thrown out because they got the reward, which is the gun, and they tell them straight up, we don't care what you got to do to get that gun, just get it. There was a cat named Wadolowski out of the 35th precinct. I went to this precinct award ceremony. They gave this guy all these awards. I said, who's this guy? They said he took the most guns off the street. Guess what? I was working for Attorney Schmelken, Schmelken Associates law firm at the time. I got a subpoena for him, his name on it. When I got it, I said, hold on, Wadolowski, that's the detective. I went up to the 35th precinct. I had to serve him. Police brutality, stop and frisk, all the stuff. But it eventually came out that this is what he was doing in order to get all those guns off the street. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times, number one, if you got a good lawyer, those things are not going to stand up in court because illegal search and seizure is a crime.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? So you can't two wrongs don't make a right at the end of the day. And a lot of these judges have already deemed this to be unconstitutional on a federal level. So why is it still being done and accepted? Because we're not putting enough pressure on these police. Okay, now another backlash to that is the whole understanding of how this thing works. These cops, the quota system. Like, I don't know if y'all know, I produced a documentary about police brutality.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let y'all know about that. But the quota system is something that they say, it doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. And
I know about the quota system. End of the month, I know about the quota system. I definitely know about the quota system for sure. Yep. They got a certain amount of arrests that they have to make. You know what I'm saying, in a month's time. And when it gets close to the end of the month, watch out.
So,
because they got to reach their quota. So that's when they start picking you up for any little silly little thing.
One of the things now, when you become a detective, these plainclothes detectives, they not only have to get misdemeanor quotas, they have to get felony quotas.
Yes, they do.
So now, when you look at the Eric Garner case, the what's his name? The detective who had him in the chokehold, Pantaleo. He was missing one felony quota for that month, and they're like, "Damn, man!" So they had a big meeting at the precinct, and in this meeting, they were like, "Yo, don't worry, we know where you can get a felony collar right now.
Right like it's a game or something.
And they said, yo, don't worry about it. We got you. So they said, what is that? I said, don't worry. So they took him to the spot and they see Eric Garner outside. And guess what? He had just broke up a fight. Two cats were scrapping. And he's like, yo, listen, y'all making my spot hot right now. Y'all got to chill. He broke the fight up. So when the cops come, he's like, yo, chill. Everything's cool. I broke up the fight. He's like, we ain't here about no fight. We here for you.
Wow.
So he was like, what? That's why when you see the video, you're like, yo, what I do?
Yeah.
He really didn't do nothing. But what he didn't understand was in the capacity that he was selling cigarettes was a federal crime.
Right.
It didn't necessarily mean that he had to be in the court in the act of doing it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So he didn't understand that.
Right.
So he's like, yo, I ain't doing
He
nothing.
thinking ain't nothing but cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right.
It is way bigger than this.
Right.
This guy is lacking one felony quota. And somebody had to die for that.
That's
wow,
crazy.
that's crazy.
That's
See what I'm
crazy,
saying?
man.
So these are things that we got to understand that's really happening. In my documentary, man, I break down the LAPD had what they call a LA CIA. It was like a hierarchy of the LAPD that was involved with like so much corrupt stuff. The Rampart scandal, all of these things. Now you got to look at Bratton. Remember, Commissioner Bratton?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Bratton was the commissioner of NYPD, Boston Police, and LAPD?
Crazy.
So what he did was he literally took this whole thing. He took the show on the road, like the circus.
Yeah.
And so now, if you're an NYPD officer, you can be hired by any other sheriff department, police as a consultant and make like double your salary in some cases. Right. And I've seen this happen a lot of times. So Bratton was like, literally, they was asking him, how you guys get away with doing all this stuff in NYC, in NYPD? Boom. And he literally walks them through. They develop what's it called? CompStat, computerized statistical data system. It was basically a statistical data report system that can generate crime statistics, or calculate crime statistics. So basically, they're saying in this region or this area, there's supposed to be a certain amount of murders, certain amount of rapes, certain amount of shootings, and those numbers, nobody's ever checking. Okay, where those numbers come from? You know what I'm saying? And they say, oh well, they generated, and there's another thing with AI too. It's not as accurate as you think. Even with the facial recognition, they've already shown you that it's racist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a whole racist system that is not really giving us true numbers and true identification. You know what I'm saying? So we got
AI is a little faulty too.
And once you really look
it's
at
a little bit faulty too. They showed some images the other day about some with the AI. Like they had a woman, she had double, like a finger but the finger had a double finger. The face had the ear, the dude had 3 ears. Like it's a little faulty, man.
So I want to ask you something before
we
because we have
go to the next
guest.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna ask you 2 things. One, you be fly. I want you to talk about your fashion, and I want you to talk about the hip hop, your role in the hip hop fraternity.
Yeah. First of all, like I said, my father, man, he was like my idol. I always wanted to be like him. And he wore suits every day. So I told my mother, I remember one time I was in 3rd grade, I said, Mom, I want to wear a suit every day like Daddy. And she went out and got me suits, man. I'm in 3rd grade, regular day, wearing a 3-piece suit. And the teacher's like, now, this right here is a fine young gentleman. And the girls loved it, but the boys didn't understand it, But like I said, I was so, and that's why it's so important to have a father or a father figure or a mentor, somebody you can look up to, especially as a young black boy, man. It's so important.
100%.
And that's why I give back to as a mentor. But that right there, and I'm going back in the days, man. I'm a historian, and one of the things I love about Black history is our culture of dressing, of looking good, and developing that confidence level within yourself. I'm writing a book right now called Becoming a Classic Man. That book is really how to reach the young kids in a way to where they'll be receptive and understanding. Because I'm like, yo, you put on that suit, you get the girl. You put on that suit, you get the job. But the suit without the core value system is a fraud. You see what I'm saying? So before you put on that suit, you have to have integrity, respect, honor, dignity. These are things that are real that build your character. You know what I'm saying? To just have the suit on, we expose frauds every day that are dressed up in suits. But when you talking to a real man that has character and integrity, it's a whole nother ball game. Okay, and you can feel how real it is.
Right.
So I want them to understand that it's not just the suit, but the suit complements that man that has that integrity
Exactly.
and respect level.
Second question.
Yeah.
What's
So
next
the
one?
hip hop,
Hip hop fraternity, yo, let me tell you, hip hop fraternity is the fastest growing hip hop organization in the United States, and the only hip hop institution that's teaching hip hop artists about publishing, royalties, contracts, and entertainment law. Now, all these other organizations and entities don't do that because in order to rip you off, that's what they don't want you to know. So my big homie, my big brother, Pimpin' Ken, it's crazy, but that dude, man, he's one of the realest people I've ever met in my life. And you know, believe it or not, he brought me into the hip hop fraternity. He's the CEO and founder. Him and Ice-T, you know, came together, man, and was really, you know, throwing around ideas. But they both wanted to do something of this magnitude for a while. Ice-T had an organization called the Rhyme Syndicate back in the 80s. And Pimpin' Ken always loved that whole, you know, concept and wanted to revisit that in some capacity. So when him and Ice became real cool, he was like, yo, man, I used to like that Rhyme Syndicate thing you did. We need to bring it back. But he wanted to revolutionize it and upgrade it to bringing in the curriculum and teaching hip hop artists about publishing, royalties, contracts, and entertainment
It's
law.
well needed.
You know what I'm saying? And also, hip hop fraternity is also a think tank. You know, there's not many times where you see the word think involved with a Black institution organization. It's very important. Even with the gun violence, we tell the kids, listen, think before you pull that trigger. Can you do 25 years right now?
But
You see what I'm saying? So even thinking about anything that you do could save you a lot of time and also, you know, save you a lot of burden. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So the think tank, the whole so we also have a literary program, a literacy program. So right now with the literary program, we have Little Boosie. We published his book through Simon & Schuster, the #1 publishing company in the United States. We published Ice-T's book through Simon & Schuster. And now we're publishing Freeway Ricky Ross's book through Simon & Schuster too. These are all 3 books that are coming out of the Hip Hop Fraternity Literary Agency. See what I'm saying? Now, for all 3 of those books, we're producing documentaries based on the book. So we just produced Little Boosie's documentary. That's going to be on Netflix real soon. We did Tubi original. I'm sorry, Tubi original. We're producing Ice-T's documentary as we speak. Matter of fact, I might be able to get you guys involved with that too. You know what I'm saying? Ice-T is our national advisor. So everything that we do, he sits on our board and everything. And we have Snoop Dogg out there in the West Coast. We got Lil Boosie down in Atlanta. And we got a couple of, you know, top rappers that are down with us. KRS-One just did a viral video talking about everything that we're doing and talking about how he wants to collaborate with us. So we're going to be collaborating with him very soon. The Temple of Hip Hop is coming up very soon. So our hip hop fraternity is based out of Atlanta. And what we're doing right now, we are in the process of launching the Hip Hop Fraternity Museum, the Hip Hop Fraternity Walk of Fame, the Hip Hop Fraternity Hall of Fame, all based down in Atlanta. But we're a national presence. We got over 35 chapters throughout the United States, 2 in Africa, 1 in Haiti, 1 in Puerto Rico, and we're expanding rapidly. You know.
So if people want to get at you, how can they get at you? What's your links and stuff like that?
Okay. I'm the president and national spokesperson for the Hip Hop Fraternity, and you can get at me, James CB Gray, on all platforms. I mean, even if you Google James CB Gray, everything will pop up. But if you go straight to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it's James CB Gray, Gray.
And before you go, right, can you tell everybody what's the #1 podcast show in Harlem?
The Beat 139.
The Beat 139, y'all know what it is.
Thank you for coming to the show, brother. Another powerful interview. And we want y'all to stay tuned. Give us a few minutes. We got Deborah Cardona, a producer, director coming up. So y'all stay tuned, and we be back in the field. Here we go.
You're listening to The Beat 139.
Harlem's #1 podcast.
Featuring Doc, Don Vito, and Keith Cash.